So, Superfreakonomics by
Stephen Levitt. There's like three authors. Is there two? Is there? I think there's two or three.
You failed.
Not really.
You failed. I disappointed.
I got one. And then something else. I forgot.
So, what do you think?
I thought it was good. I liked it.
I genuinely don't know if it was worth reading.
Nah, come on, it was worth reading.
Okay, it was worth reading. All right. Cool. Whatever. It was worth reading, but I wouldn't tell anybody to go read it. I wouldn't say go. I think there's other books out there that you would spend your time better reading those books than this book. But is it worth reading? Go read it. Go on in. But yeah, I did like it for a few reasons. One, the way they organised the book was crap.
All over the place.
It was all over the place.
All over the place.
All
I didn't
over.
find that to be a problem.
None of them linked in. Like they didn't start talking about this and then slowly introduce the next chapter. They just said we're going sharks, then we're going polio, then we're going back to polio, or then we're going to go doctors. Like why? Why did they do that?
But why not?
Why not write?
Why
not write? Do you know what? It's because it was multiple authors. That's probably what it was.
That's probably.
But
why.
still,
That's
connect it up. I said, this book has the longest epilogue ever, and it was a collection of random facts. It jumped from Indian women to shark attacks in Florida. It was quite confusing, to be honest, and my first thoughts is that I'm underwhelmed. Like,
You talk about the epilogue.
The epilogue's the bit in the beginning, right?
That's prologue.
Prologue, sorry.
Yeah.
They went on for a while, and then they said, what did they say? Oh, you don't have to listen to any of this, but we're going to waffle on for a bit. And
so you knew what you was in for. You're complaining. You knew what you was in for. You knew what you was in for. So, is that one of your first reasons why you didn't like the book? It's poorly structured, in your opinion.
Poorly structured. And it was a lot of useless information.
Well, define useless information.
Well, I'll tell you. The useless information is information that you could never use. I mean, you couldn't even, like, some of this stuff, you can't even, like, you know, pub talk. Yeah, oh, did you know? Right, it was like...
About a pub quiz.
Yeah, not quiz. I'm talking about, like, impressing your freaky friends, you know. Impressing your friends, though, you know, with some information. They started talking about car seats, children's seats. I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get into something here. And they said a whole lot of nothing. What did we learn about baby seats?
I don't remember.
Nothing, exactly. You know, that's real shit. You know, you're here with your family or whatever. They're strapping in their kids, getting all stressed about it, and you can say, you do know these car seats. Oh, don't do buckle for your children. You know, that would be interesting.
To be fair, it would be interesting. Some people obviously get annoyed. Some people start getting upset.
Yeah, of course they would. But that's useful. Then instead they started telling us doctors don't wash their hands in 1800s and polio.
That is super interesting to know, though. Well, I found it interesting.
No, okay, was it interesting to you know? Yes, but if you're going to write a book, make it useful. Us knowing that doctors didn't wash their hands in 1800s, that doesn't help me at all.
What's interesting to know, isn't it?
Yeah, as we said. Yeah, go on. Go on.
I didn't get the blurb this time, I forgot.
No, you don't get blurb for this. Superfreakonomics.
Super freaky economics, pretty much.
Yeah.
I put, is this a storybook or not? I wasn't expecting a storybook, but the first chapter introduces us to a character called Lashina, who turned out to be unimportant to the story altogether. Like, the first chapter, there was like, here is a woman called Lashina. She works X amount of hours a week. She does X amount of this per day. She turns tricks, whatever. She's boosted, she's haircutting. And then literally was just...
I don't even remember.
End of the chapter, there was just like...
I don't even remember.
I was like, what to Lashina? And it was like, doesn't matter. That wasn't the point. I don't know what the point was, but... I did like how the book was flowing, though, the informational sort of style. I like that, first of all, like just having paragraphs of text about historical facts or scientific studies conducted. Maybe because I have a short attention span, it helps me to move on to new things quickly, and just don't finish the old thing. Do you ever skip a song without listening to it in its entirety?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that.
I skip the last 10 seconds. That's what I do of every song. So we get onto prostitution. World's oldest profession. That's a fact. Dentistry and prostitution is the world's oldest.
The world's oldest profession can't be prostitution.
Of course it is. That's from the beginning of time. Women have been giving out for money. What are you talking
about? It can't be the world's oldest profession though. So for example, I heard this joke somewhere. Let's say for example, there was cave women that were like swapping their bodies for like a fish for food for someone. That would make the world's oldest profession fishing. Do you know what I mean? It cannot be the world's oldest profession. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
It could be one of the oldest. It could probably be the second oldest even.
No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But, alright, no, you okay, that's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
But you're wrong. Because the man didn't fish to sell, he fished for himself.
But that's still a
profession is something you're paid for. He was eating.
But the thing is, that is the money.
Yeah, no.
There was no money, so there was no professions back then. Do you know what I mean? I don't think
no. Let me land. He wasn't fishing for business. She was giving it up for business.
How do you know he wasn't fishing for business?
Because at some point, no, he could have been. You're right, but at some point, when people first figured out that they could fish or forage, they were doing it for themselves. Straight.
Yeah, no, of course.
So you got a good point there, but we're just speculating.
Yeah,
we're just speculating.
No, we could know, of course. 100%.
But apparently, prostitution and dentistry are the world's oldest professions.
Fair enough.
But yes, let me get back to my point. So, on to prostitution. And it seems like the authors are glorifying prostitution. They said... Sorry?
It did seem like that, innit? It literally seemed like there was more women should do this.
Yeah. They said, why aren't more women doing this? High wage, flexible hours? I said, why is there no mention of what...
That's why the Nazis burned the books, bro. Can't have this.
Why is there no mention of what prostitution does to women's mental state? In terms of settling down and looking for a husband, how prostitutes' opinions of men differ to normal women. How they don't form a chemical attachment to the partner during sex like normal women generally do. I thought the economics is talking about numbers and data and stuff like that. That would have been interesting.
To be fair, they did speak on it a really, really short bit. There was there's the possibility for violence X amount of times per week, or but that's possibility of being arrested. Then it was talking about
you're right, but I'm
if
talking
you don't
about
want to settle down.
You're right. But I'm talking about the mental state. The mental health of a prostitute, because they said, why aren't more women doing this? Well,
it was a question. They posed loads of questions like that.
They left out.
That's like an information side of posing questions. Obviously, they're not asking why. They know why more women don't do it.
I don't know. I feel like they should have been some more information.
Maybe.
Also, do you know the dictionary definition of economics, Joseph?
No, of course not.
So why is there no definition of what economics is in the book?
Yeah. Maybe it's Superfreakonomics.
Maybe, but look, what do I know? But I think you should be able to pick up a book and learn about something, not need to read another book.
Yeah.
But the dictionary definition it's the study of scarcity. The study of how people use resources and respond to incentives, or the study of decision making. It often involves topics like wealth, finance, but it's not all about money. So it's the study of decision making, apparently. But yeah, go on. The book was alright, but it was put it this way: there was nuggets of gold in the book, but nowhere near enough.
Where we kind of differed, where you was like, is it worth reading? I was like, nah, it was worth reading.
Yeah, it was a bit harsh.
Definitely worth reading. I put the gender war. Throughout history, this is a quote, it has been invariably harder to be a woman than a man. We did talk about this on another video.
They say that, but I think that's bullshit as well.
Again, I think if there was a way to know, you could never ever possibly prove that. I don't think there's a way to know or prove it.
Yeah,
ever,
but what I will say is that in all of we can't even say in all of human history, it's too big. But in the last 100 years, I think it's been, let's say 200 years. Last 200 years, I'd say it's much better to be a girl than a boy. Maybe you couldn't go to school, but I'm saying, as a man, what do they say? They say most of the people on the planet in the last 200 years, before 900s, lived on $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. So women were like this. They were getting handed shit. Men were out there working and warring and this, that, and the other. So to me, I know which one I'd rather.
And I saw the kind of jobs that was going on back then as well.
Yeah,
I mean, same kind of jobs, coal mines, steel mills, doing things by hand.
So I don't know. People say it's harder. Obviously, women have more rights now, right?
I personally think, like the book said, it's never been better to be a woman than it is now. Yeah. That's factually accurate.
But it's never been better to be a man than it is.
That's true. It's never been better to be human, just across the board, really and truly.
It's never been better to be animal either.
It's better for everybody. It's better for everybody. But all I say is I just don't know if you could possibly prove it. We did talk about this in another video. Is it actually harder to be a woman or a man? I think probably the key difference is, would you press a button and swap if you could? If you could press a button, magically swap, seamlessly swap, would you press it?
No.
I wouldn't either. Does that say something about who we think it's really harder to be, or are we just comfortable with who we are?
No, I think it's better to be a man. Yes. But I don't think that's different to be whether it's harder or easier.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's harder to be a woman now. We all got our own struggles.
I think what's interesting is the only thing that I can find that unifies people on this debate. Some people say it's hard to be a woman. Some people say it's hard to be a man. Only thing that unifies people is everybody is determined to say they've got it harder. Everybody's determined to be the victim, to choose to be the victim in the situation. I enjoy being on the winning side, for example. Like, I've no problem saying it's easier to be a man or better or whatever. It is what it is. I'd rather have...
It can't be harder to be a woman. It literally can't be. You walk down the road, men move to you, they want to take you out. Like, how could that be hard?
Well, look, that's
saying no. Is it hard to say no to men?
But that's what they say. Men have a greater capacity to inflict damage.
Yeah, of course. But,
do you know what I mean?
But if you're worth anything, you'd have a man that protects you.
But that's what I'm saying, like...
How's that hard? Oh, he's got to take me out. He's taking me out again. Oh my God, I'm stay at home woman.
Well, like you said,
I've got to cook. I've got to cook the food. Oh,
to be fair, no, that part
isn't
hard because, like, regardless of whether you're a woman or man, you just got to learn to cook in some capacity, some way, shape, or form. You have to learn these life skills. Like, whoever you are, you've got to learn these life skills. Well, you do.
You've got a woman for that.
But that's what I'm saying. You know how to cook, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a life skill. It's like cleaning it up. You just know how to do it. It's a life skill. Everyone did it when they was little. I mean, some of us did. Some of us didn't. Do you know what I mean? But, yeah, it's a life skill. Yeah. I enjoy being on the winning side. That was my...
Yeah, no, I'd much rather be I'm glad to be a man. I always wake up in the morning and I look down and
smile.
I swear. But yeah. Okay, the first amazing, mind-blowing point. The month of the year that you were born in matters. Did that not blow your mind? That blew my mind. It blew my mind. This is a big one as well. The big one over here, love. The month of the year that you're born in matters. Scientists did a study in America on professional elite athletes. And out of 50, all were born in the months of January to March. All but 3, I think it was, were born in between. So they did a study on 50, and all but 3 was born in the months of January to March. So the month of the year, the 3-month period, the month of the year that you're born in matters, right? The reason being is that America, they divide their school years following the normal calendar year. So whereas we start our calendar year in September and it finishes in July or something like that. Yeah, there's a reason for that. You do know that, right?
I assume there was a reason. I don't really know what it was.
So basically, it's to let the kids go home for a 6 weeks holiday. And the reason being is because the children help with the harvesting on the farms. This is from hundreds of years ago. So we need the kids. They're working for us to help with the harvest, right? But we don't do that anymore, so I don't know why
there's no reason to change it, so I suppose they just didn't.
Yeah. But in America, their school year, I don't know if this is true, but it's what it says in the book. Their school year starts January, finishes December. It can't be true. But what?
That's all year. It literally can't be.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But right, it says people usually start playing sports at 5 or 6 years old. So in the USA, if you're born in January, February, March, you are the oldest of the year. You're probably the biggest, the strongest, and everybody else is months behind you in maturity and mental capability. So at those ages, it makes a difference, So for a child that's 4 years old or a child that's 5 years old, there's a massive difference. So, if you're the coach of any of these teams, you consciously choose the best players, but you subconsciously choose the oldest children for all the reasons above. So, the oldest children of their year get picked, which means they get more playing time, they get more attention, than their younger counterparts. As the years go on and their ages increase, the younger children rarely get out of the shadow of the advanced children. So from when they're young, the oldest get picked every single time. They get more training all the way up as they get older. More opportunities. And this carries on all the way from school to the professional stage. So there's no such thing as raw talent. That's what they said. And that genuinely blew my mind. Because think about stuff like that.
You genuinely don't think about it. But what's more interesting, if I'll leave that for my point, to be fair. But it is super interesting.
Yeah, I read that. I was like,
and it's literally just like.
So it made me
immediately I went online. I said, "What is Ronaldo's birthday? He's born in February." I said, "This is really? Crazy. This is crazy."
That's interesting.
It is super interesting.
And I said that genuinely blew my mind. So is that child abuse to willingly have a child in the unfavorable months just because you want a child, even though you know it'll be disadvantaged.
You're literally hamstringing them. You're hamstringing them. You're purposefully hamstringing them. I think it's most parents
hamstringing them.
I think you're hamstringing. If they're like born later in the year, you're not giving them their best chance. Is what I'm saying. But having said that, I just think it's something that I don't think it's child abuse, but I think
why not? You're choosing to disadvantage them for your own personal desire.
But that's what I'm saying. Most parents don't think about this. You see what I'm saying?
No. But I'm saying now we know. I'm saying now we know.
Well, would it be child abuse for us to do
For people who know, is it child abuse?
Well, I know what month my children can be born in. Don't be born like me, October.
You're going to be consummating.
Make sure. Wait, what month would you need to line it up?
You got to be like, you got to be like March. You got to
leave a couple of weeks.
That's when you start. March, April's when you, for the 9 months so that they're born January. But you could fuck up and they're born earlier than December.
Do you see what I'm saying? It could be. Just backdate their birth. Just backdate it.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell Don't tell anybody. Yeah,
that is
crazy,
interesting though. Very
super duper interesting. But this is what I'm saying. Like, that kind of thing.
That's what I want. I wanted these bombs in every chapter. I didn't get no bombs.
Every sentence.
Even I'll give it to them. Even what they said. Was it walking drunk's more dangerous than driving drunk?
Yeah.
Those interesting topics, interesting things. Cool.
And even when they said, driving's more dangerous than flying, I was like, I knew that already. Yeah. But it's just like it's crazy to think about though. But in the sky, what could you crash into?
They say more people. So basically, what happened? They said much more people die or are injured walking drunk than driving drunk. Driving drunk is much safer. You can't argue with it.
Does not sound like something
you can't argue with it. But yeah, so
they take more risks. That people are driving drunk. Normally, I just like, I don't know. Never drove drunk. Sound like I was incriminating myself, but I assume people who drive drunk are like trying to be like inch the car home, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So that means it's got to be safe then, isn't it?
It's got to be safer just because it's more dangerous.
What?
It's safer because it's more dangerous, and people take less risk, take fewer risks because it's more dangerous. Do you know what I mean? Here's what I thought was about, anyways. Feminism's effect on school children. In the 40s and 50s, teaching was one profession dominated by women that didn't involve cooking or cleaning. I mean, probably involved cleaning at some stage, but however, as women's options multiplied, college graduates were instead moving into fields of law and medicine, and the quality of teacher declined. So, here's an interesting question. Is it bad for society that women stopped wanting to be teachers and prefer to be like doctors and lawyers? Obviously, we've got more doctors and lawyers, but is it bad for society? Because like the quality of teaching went down, especially in the US. I don't know really over here. Yeah, these studies were kind of in the US.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say that it's the fact that women have stopped teaching is the direct reason.
They haven't even. There's
no. But I'm saying but you're saying more women, or there's less women teaching now.
There's less college graduates teaching. We had college graduates teaching the schools. Now college graduates are doctors and lawyers. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So there's less women teaching. There's
there's less women teaching.
Yeah. So I don't know if we can definitely they correlate though. Just because one's going up, just because women leave and the teaching quality goes down doesn't mean that was the only thing.
No, I don't think that's the only thing.
It's like saying it's the weather that causes the ice cream machines in McDonald's to break when it's not.
I mean,
it's like really. Sorry,
it's not really like that, is it?
No, but it's like you're like not you, but they're saying this thing means that thing, and we can't say that for sure.
Well, look, if the quality of teacher declines and then the quality of schooling declines, there's a reasonable correlation there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not saying there's a not reasonable correlation, but I'm just saying it's not. We can't say with absolute certainty that is the reason why. So we can't then say it's bad for society for women to get out of the school.
To be fair, we can reasonably assume. We can't say for certain.
You can't.
Why not? Why not?
Because the level of teaching. I mean, what does that even mean?
Just the quality of
teacher. Yeah,
the
quality
of teacher.
You know what I mean? So this is
how well the teachers understand their own subjects, for example. Or how well teachers understand how to instruct other people, for example.
I think we could make it simple and just force them to teach again. But I don't like. There wasn't. They didn't. Did you see what I'm saying? It's not specific. It's not even specific. They said, "Oh, the quality of teaching." Yeah, whatever. What the fuck does that mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Like things I've just said. Like how well do you understand your own subject? For example, like could you pass if you teach GCSE maths? Could you pass a GCSE maths test? For example, there's some teachers that can't.
Right.
But
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a lot of detail that's missed in the book. They didn't go into explaining the specifics.
well, this book would never have ended if they went to everything.
I'm not saying they should go to everything, but they should
never ended. Literally, it would take us 2
well,
or 3 weeks.
according to you, that seems like something you would enjoy since you like the book. It's
Well,
the best book
I
you've
liked
ever
it.
read.
I
So why
said
would
it's
you
my
want to?
favourite. I said it's my favourite.
You
I
said it's
liked
the
it.
top. You
Yeah,
said it's
I liked it. It's my
There's
favourite.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, of course
Even
not.
if
That's why I said it.
whatever you're drinking, I want some of that.
No, you don't want none of this, don't worry.
So, the next chapter moves on to a well-known murder that happened in New York, where a neighborhood stood by and watched a man kill a woman late at night, and nobody called the police. Did you know about this before?
I didn't know about it before. By the way, because I didn't listen to audiobook, I read the book again. How do they say that woman's name in the audio?
I don't
Do you
remember what woman's name
You don't
was.
remember?
What was it?
It was like Gino something. It began with a G.
Why?
Just
you don't
because
know
I
how
was
to
just
say it?
curious. I was just vaguely
You didn't
curious.
know how to say it?
Yeah, nah.
Oh,
just
I
vaguely
can't
curious.
remember.
No, it doesn't matter anyways.
But yeah, this is a very well-known case that's covered by every book on human nature or modern-day philosophy.
So you've heard about it before?
Yeah, I've read it in about 6 books.
Fair enough.
They even said it themselves that it's a well-covered story in the top 10 books in their field. They said it in the book. So why did they cover the story too? What more did they bring out? They was just a waste of time. It was a waste of time.
Maybe. I mean, to be fair,
If
I've
you
never
haven't heard of it,
Do you see
yeah.
what I'm saying?
If you haven't heard of it, then yeah, but they said it themselves. Oh yeah, they said it. You know, it's this story. It's in every single book, in all the top 10 books in our field. So cover something else then.
Well, maybe there was a specific point that
They didn't. No, there wasn't. There wasn't. There wasn't.
I'm saying maybe there was. Where was he? Do you remember where it was going with that point? Because I only vaguely remember
They
the story.
did not go anywhere. They didn't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. They didn't go anywhere with it.
Listen, maybe there was a specific point that they wanted to make.
You just think I'm just attacking the book, innit?
No, I don't think you're attacking the book. You are attacking the book. You're definitely attacking the book.
Hello.
You know we've got this on camera.
Listen.
You know you've got me out of this. We've got it on camera.
Listen to me. I've commended the book. It's blown my mind. I just think it was not too little too late, but it just was not good enough. It was not good enough.
Oh, what book is good enough? Do you know what I mean?
When crickets cry.
That wasn't good enough. We had criticisms about that.
Look, there's always criticisms. But
Listen,
this
let's
one-
not talk about when crickets cry again. We've got a whole video for that. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. We've got to take this one up too. Let me just say the one that you already said, so it's out of the way. So you're more likely to make it as a professional footballer if you're born early in the year. That blew my mind, 100%. In chapter 2, we talk about how footballers are reared when they're children. Since youth leagues organised by age, most leagues employ a cut-off point, typically December 31st. This means that boys born early in the year have the potential to be almost an entire physical year older than the boys born at the late end of the year while all being the same age. Do you know what this means? This means astrology is true. That's what it means. It means astrology has a basis in fact. It means the position of the stars, where you're born or whatever, like the time or the date when you're born can tell you things about your life. That's literally what it means. You can't even argue with it. It's
Well,
literally
it doesn't
what it means.
mean you're a liar, though.
Huh?
It doesn't mean you're a Leo. Or
No,
a liar,
no, it's,
whatever
well,
it
to be
is.
fair, those are just names for the different portions of the year, whatever. But it literally means you could tell something about someone based on what year they was, or what month they was born, what portion of the year.
Well,
It's just crazy.
You might be onto something actually, because if it was a case, if they were smart enough, right? If the people who made up this star sign rubbish was smart enough, and they worked this out,
I
that
take
means
it you don't set much stock by the star sign.
you don't accuse me of shit on this too.
Yeah, hey, listen.
But anyway, if these people who invented this astrology rubbish were smart enough to figure this out, what we just said, it is more likely that somebody born in January is, self-assured or arrogant or something, because he's always been the best of his year because he's the strongest and the biggest. So you could say someone born in January has more likely going to be of that personality. So maybe there is some truth in it.
There's definitely
As you
some
said,
truth in it. There's
you've
some
actually-
truth in it.
you're
I
onto
don't know if
something.
everything is going to be like, because Mercury's in the 3rd house, that means you're going to fall over to the... I don't necessarily think it's like to that level, but there's definitely there's something in it. There's something to be found here.
Yeah,
But
maybe astrology is real, eh?
It's crazy because it's a strange mathematical phenomenon becomes a trend in football, like because you're born at this end of the year instead of that end of the year, you're more likely to be. It's just a mathematical phenomenon. You're the same age, but you're a year older because of the way numbers work. You're more likely to be, and it just shows we don't really know what we're doing as humans. Like, most people aren't aware of this. They just go for whatever they want to go for, and whatever they get is what they get. Yeah, so as humans, we don't really know what we're doing. We're generally hoping for the best. I read a story on Reddit, for example, about a guy that woke up late for work. This year, 2005, he woke up late for work, right? Now, the reason he woke up late is because he was hungover, and he debated calling in sick to work. And he unable to decide, you know what he did? He said, let me flip a coin. So he flipped a coin.
What's this, the origin story for the for Two-Face?
No. Oh, Harvey Dent. No. Yeah, so he flipped a coin, it came up tails, and he called in sick. Because his heads are going to work. Tails calling sick.
He still decided that though.
If he had come up heads, he would have been on the Piccadilly line on the morning that terrorists used 3 bombs to blow up the London Underground. So by the flip of a coin, he lived.
Lucky.
Literally, he would have been on the Piccadilly line as well.
Don't do the lottery.
That's your day. Don't waste it. If that happens to you.
But you hear stories like this, you know, and people who, you know, the plane that got hijacked, 9/11, there was people who missed that flight. You know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
There's nobody. I don't think any flight's ever 100%. You know, over 300 people, 400 people, 1,000. Someone's gonna miss their flight.
Someone missed it.
Someone's gonna
kicked off.
Something's gonna happen.
Literally.
But yeah.
But literally, what does that mean if you're the guy that missed his flight and then 9/11 happened? Does that mean God have a big plan for me? Or like, what does it mean? What do you just...
He used to drink more.
I said drinking saved his life.
Yeah.
Drinking literally saved his life.
Why are the authors telling us about polio and doctors not washing their hands back in the 1800s? Are you going to tell us something current, something useful? I am thoroughly disappointed with the book. After the amazingly long intro, it started strong by blowing my mind. After that, it's been a waste of my time. It's been a waste.
Do you know what? I agree with you in the sense that doctors not washing their hands a billion years ago, however long it was, isn't like relevant to today because obviously they wash their hands now.
But it's funny. Because I heard about literally in the news yesterday, or was the day before? It might have been yesterday. They were talking about our water systems in the poorer parts of the UK is so rubbish that children are getting polio and we need to vaccinate everybody.
You know what's
which is funny because I've never heard of polio before this. And all of a sudden...
Oh, yeah, by the
Meinhof.
Is it interesting? For example, I'll tell you something that my dad told me. He said he read something that the water people said to him on the water bill, right? And he said there is cyanide in the tap water. That's what he said. He said there's cyanide in the tap water. Have you noticed we don't fill up the kettle from the tap anymore? I don't know if you've noticed that. He said there's cyanide in the tap water, that he read it on the thing that they sent him. I was like, shut up. This cannot be... They would never write this on there if they did. Ever since that day, anytime I've like had tap water for anything, like tea, anything, literally coughing all night. Every single night. Every single time without fail.
I don't trust people who drink tap water anyway. I think it's weird. Why would you do that? Where does it come from? I mean, it's literally it comes from the toilet, isn't it? Like, why would you want to drink that? They purify it with all sorts of... Like, why would you drink that?
Like, the fact that there is bottled water being sold in the shop means there's a difference.
In America, people have genuinely died from being poisoned by the tap water. Like, companies... Was that
Flint, Michigan. Was one of the big
companies screwed up, you know, and poured something in there they shouldn't have and messed up the purity and whatever, and people die.
Yeah, like, there was tar.
You deserve it too.
There was tar.
Why
it was black. What must have been black? People still drinking it.
Deserve it. Why are you drinking that? Weirdo. Anyway.
Yeah, if the bottled water's poison, there's not really much you could do with it.
Yeah, I mean, you tried. You know, you can see where the source and where it came from and whatnot.
It's sealed as well. You can see that, right?
Poison sealed in there. Car seats. Wait.
No, go on. I just finished back. Yeah, I finished.
Are you sure?
Wait, what did you say? I think it was you actually.
Yeah,
what did you say?
I ended it with saying it's been a waste of my time. So I think
it's talking about the polio, the doctor's polio. Yeah. But interesting, births during the month of Ramadan in certain areas coincide with children being born with developmental after effects. This is of course due to the pregnant mothers observing the daytime fast of Ramadan despite their condition, which really isn't. It's not. I heard somebody say. I read a review about this book, for example, and somebody highlighted
that was interesting,
and he was like, these are the ways in which religion damages. And I was like, well, it's an abuse of religion, to be fair, because Quran says pregnant women should fast if they... Well, what it actually says is they should fast if they fear the life or health of their child. But for every day they don't fast... They shouldn't fast, sorry. Yeah. But for every day they don't fast, they have to feed one poor person. That's what it actually says.
And it's funny as well. But I wouldn't have thought that... I wouldn't have thought that it would cause birth defects.
You don't think so?
Because, you're consuming the same amount of calories. So what's the difference?
I mean,
And also, if you
yes.
think about it, humans have been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Pregnant women did not eat every 3 hours. They ate when they bloody could.
That's true. Maybe them children had developmental after effects. Do you know what I mean?
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. Thousands of years later, so we
I
must have
personally
survived.
think, well, look, babies, when you first have a baby, when they're infant, like, they need feeding every 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. Like, they can't be that much different when they're in the womb. They must be even weaker, in fact. They must need
Yeah,
more
but the body has things in there.
It has things in there, but you need to still put things in there. Do you know what I mean?
The food that you
What the science saying you do? Do you know what I mean? You're saying, no, you don't. But
Well,
you do.
Your body, we don't need to eat for 30 days. We don't need to drink, we don't need to eat for 30 days. We don't need to drink water for however many days as well. I mean, your body can survive. It's a food addiction. It's not, this is a fact. It's a fact. Your body can survive without food for over 30 days. No problem.
Okay, cool. How old do you have to be for that? Is that like adult body, child's body? Is that any,
I don't think
any
it's
human
been
body?
tried.
I don't think it's been tried and tested, did it?
but
That's
yeah.
just child abuse. Doing that. Just not feeding this
so
child
the
for-
fact that we feel like we need to eat every 3 or 4 hours, it's food
Oh,
addiction.
come on.
It's
We
food
don't need to
addiction.
eat every 3-4 hours. That's ridiculous, of course. Literally, like I said, there's so many healthy humans that eat 1 meal a day. 100%. So we don't need to eat every 3 or 4 hours. Nobody's saying that. I'm saying newborn babies or fetuses, literal fetuses, they might need a little more juice than us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not saying they don't. I mean, there's a reason why a mother can feed their child from their body at any time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because that's what the children need.
I mean, that must leave them feeling drained. So maybe they do need food every couple of hours. Who knows? But yeah.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Car seats. And we learned nothing. I got excited that we were actually going to learn something useful. I was wrong. For the life of me, I cannot figure out the point of this book. I'm writing this now as they are mentioning Al Gore and global warming. I have read this book, so let us see if they copy the interesting information of Al Gore or they actually say something of use. Because right now, this seems like a money scheme. Their first book was apparently amazing, so obviously their second book is a guaranteed sale. That's why I saw it as.
Is that Kingsman too?
And every sequel.
Kingsman. Yeah, pretty much, to be fair.
But yeah, no, but yeah, go on.
Yes. We're gonna have to read the first one then, innit?
That's what I was thinking, but
no, that's what you mean. That's what you was thinking. We was originally the plan was to read the first one, and then you was like, let's read the second one instead. But,
yeah, because the reason why is why would I want to read a book that's 50 years old? It's gonna be talking about things that are no longer true.
things that were groundbreaking 50 years ago.
Well, it's every fact that we would have learned would be probably incorrect by now. So what's the point?
That's very true, to be fair.
So that's why I'm saying.
True. Although there are some facts that have stood the test of time.
Yeah,
There's a
some.
select few in it. There's a select thinnest of thin slices. Like
And
there.
that's funny because that means facts aren't facts, then, are they?
I was literally just about to say, what does facts even mean?
Yeah,
If it can change depending on what we know, what we don't know, which is
That means we
never
can't
gonna change.
ever know anything.
We can't ever know. Well, speak for yourself, but nah. In all seriousness, though, you generally can't really know anything. The only thing I know is I know nothing. Right?
Yeah.
I put television is to blame for violence. After all, who knew?
Did they
Only not in
change
the
that?
way we were all told. I remember being little. We weren't allowed to play GTA. We wasn't allowed to play GTA. We wasn't really allowed to play Mortal Kombat. All these kinds of things because our parents thought we'd be beheading our enemies and beating up strippers for real. That's what they thought. Video games, TV.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
I mean, it's not me. But yeah, nah. Television, as we all know, does affect the development of children, but increases the child's likeliness for property crimes and violent crimes by a considerable amount per year that they're exposed to TV as a child. In the earlier years of TV, it was doing the job that the internet is doing now, exposing viewers to just a larger scope. So different people's lifestyles, what different people have. Like, you might watch Pimp My Ride and be like, oh, look at the car they have. And look at my dad's car. Rubbish. You might watch as a kid, you might watch a superhero TV show and develop a distorted sense of justice. You might watch a harmless sitcom and come to idolize a womanizing character. TV and the internet bombard people with information which reconfigures the brain. And since parents have been aware that they can use the TV as a babysitter, I imagine the problem has only gotten worse. People watching TV have greater opportunities to see the lives of others and see things they can't afford, basically. So like back when there was no TV, all you had to do was read books and play toys in your house. You had no idea there was people living lives much better than you. You probably thought, yeah, rich people exist or whatever, but back in the day, we wasn't thinking about money. We was thinking about when we had that toy box, that red toy box. We wasn't thinking about anybody else's life.
Yeah. It's unlocked a memory there.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The television. What did you think of the television points? The television bits. Do you remember them? You owe these authors an apology.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, they were talking about. They jumped from Indian women.
Yeah,
TV
they did say
this,
stuff
that.
about Indian women. I skipped the bits about Indian women.
But that's the bit I was paying attention to.
I was uninterested.
But yeah, no,
I had Indian women. I was like, nah, not for me.
Externalities. I didn't know there was an actual word for the repercussions of our actions.
Consequences.
No. So an externality or an external cost is an indirect cost or benefit to an uninvolved third party that arises as an effect of another party's activity. And I was supposed to find an actual example of that, and it basically said something along the lines of, if you are cooking a barbecue in your garden, the externality is the smoke going into your neighbour's windows. You know, you don't mean for that to happen, but it's an externality. So also, so I thought that was interesting. I learned about externalities. And volcanic eruption is good for climate change. I don't know what I'm doing with the notes here, genuinely. I don't know.
This is every week though. It's like, you're a mess.
I think I'm going to leave you. You go and say your point and I'll say another one.
Chapter 4, this is about the doctors. Chapter 4 talks about a study conducted whereby mothers who delivered babies at hospitals and cared for by the best doctors invariably contracted a fatal plague when compared with mothers who delivered at home or even on the streets. To be fair, it wasn't a fatal plague. It was a plague that ended up being fatal. Like a fatal plague is like Ebola or the Black Death, for example, whereas you could just get a fever and die from it. Doesn't necessarily mean it was a fatal plague. It's just fatal to you. The study found that doctors transferred particles of deceased flesh from autopsies to birthing mothers, causing the spread of infection. What I thought was interesting. Can a hospital... I know hospitals can face lawsuits, but can a hospital face a lawsuit if doctors genuinely don't know anything about what happened? Like, if there was just a disease that they didn't know they were supposed to wash their hands or whatever. This is 100 years ago. Who was washing their hands 100 years ago? Do you know what I mean?
I promise you there were no lawsuits back then. They're like, you come to me for help?
That's what I'm saying.
Free?
Tie this frog around your throat to cure yourself of the plague. Yeah, there's no lawsuits. I was just thinking, what can you actually sue a hospital for? Like, because... they're finding out on the job, do you know what I mean? Like, even I was watching House, you know the show House, House MD. I was watching House, right? And one thing that House likes to do is when they don't know what's wrong with somebody, he'll be like, treat them for this, treat them for that. And they'll be like, but what if it's not there? And he said, then we'll know. That's what he says, then we'll know. Like, give them these steroids, see what happens. And this is what doctors do. They just experiment on you to find out what you don't have so they can find out what you do have. So you can't really sue doctors, can you?
No, you can't. They do get sued.
For malpractice, isn't it?
NHS does get sued by companies. Sued by people for, what do they call it? Medical
malpractice, yeah.
I thought it was something else.
Must be malpractice. So, like, for example, if you break the Hippocratic Oath, for example, or you do something that is, like, against the...
No, they do get forgiven wrong things and just blundering. Yeah.
Misdiagnosing.
What do they call it? They call it... I can't remember what they call it. No, they butcher surgery sometimes, you know, leave scissors inside people. They make humans, they make mistakes, innit?
Especially if you're working like 12, 16 hours.
Think about it. How much times have you lost your TV remote?
Oh, come on.
In your own bed or something. Like,
you only lose it in your own bed. I'm pretty sure. Only lose it in your own bed.
You know, where was it? You know, how much times have you lost the lighter?
I found my keys in the fridge one time.
Okay, well, I hope you never perform a surgery.
Honestly, I'm good.
I've definitely blundered things. Like, I've put ice creams in the fridge before, gone to bed. The next morning it's done.
Yeah, it's done. I saw this meme one time. It said, when you accidentally put your pizza to bed and put your son in the oven or something like that. I was like, joke is like,
I've put things in the microwave and forgot they were there.
So like, it's just beep beep ready, and you just forgot it there.
Yeah, so I heat it up, go about my business. Go upstairs, whatever, maybe fall asleep. Completely forget it's there, and then next time I go to warm up food, it's in there. I was like, oh crap! I obviously wasn't hungry.
But yeah,
back on topic. This book is all over the place. It jumps from global warming to Bill Gates, back to global warming. It doesn't flow at all. It needs actual chapters that stick to the topic. But the work that they've done on climate change alone is enough for me to say the book was worth reading. They've dropped facts about the lies that the media's told us has led us to believe, such as carbon dioxide is poison. You know, the carbon dioxide. Just to be clear, every single living plant, every single living plant needs carbon dioxide, and without the plants, we would all be dead. All this information and more I learned from another book, which is infinitely better. And probably the best book I've ever read, called The Politically Incorrect Guide to Climate Change by Mark Morano. We have to read that book. It's so good. It'll blow your mind.
Well, to be fair, climate change is something I know alarmingly little about, so...
Every chapter of that book, it has you like, what? It can't be true. That's impossible. Luke Skywalker. You killed my father.
I genuinely watched that the other day as well. Funny.
But yes, we have to add that to the reading list because it shows how much of a scam this climate change bullshit is. But the point I'm trying to make is that when other reputable books like this second the information on climate change that seems a bit left, it helps people to trust the information opposing what we think we know about climate change. But yeah, the politically incorrect guide to climate change could be coming up very soon. What do you think?
What do I think about reading that next? What do I think about? I mean, yeah, like I said, climate change is something I know alarmingly little about, and it's something that you kind of just... Well, not you, but the vast majority of people just believe what they hear.
Yeah,
so they believe the polar ice caps are melting. They believe the world's going to get flooded in the next 2 to 5 years or whatever it is. They believe that like there's holes in the ozone layer. I don't know how true any of this is. This is just known stuff. Do you know what I mean? And there's loads of known stuff that you don't challenge it or never know it's not true or inaccurate or someone told you the wrong way or Chinese whispers even. Yeah. It's like people just repeat it wrong.
And it's our fault. I mean, I don't want to get on to the climate change 100% because obviously we're going to do that book. But scientists work for the government. Yeah. And a scientist that stands up and says to the government, can I have some funding, please? And the government say, oh, no problem. What do you want it for? I want to prove that climate change isn't real. They'd be like, nah.
We don't need any of that.
They give funding to the scientists that find what, you know,
make bombs.
Yeah, well, yeah, that. But they want it. They choose who gets the funding, and the scientists know that. The scientists have to find something that the government wants.
Literally. You know what I mean? I remember there was a study I read by a somewhat reputable LGBT newspaper. It wasn't a newspaper. It was like an online magazine. So it was really like a views piece with some news sprinkled in there. But basically, what this woman did, they said they studied trans people's brains to see if there was a similarity between the gender of the brain they wanted to be versus the gender of the brain they are. So they studied trans people's brains of like different assigning genders, and they actually found what they concluded at the end of the study was that study into trans people is transphobic because they might prove the opposite of what they was trying to... Do you see what I'm saying? Like they proved there was zero similarities between trans people's brains and cisgender people's brains of the same assigning gender. Like it found zero similarities, and it was like, let's abandon it. Go back to what was doing before. We already won. Everyone, and it was just crazy. You can't give up because you found the opposite of.
Listen, these scientists, they what they do is they find evidence to prove their theory. Literally. And what they're supposed to do is find evidence to disprove their theory. Yeah, literally. If they can't find evidence to disprove it, then you can say it's true. But that's what
it's just so crazy. It's like if I let's do a mathematical study because I know 2 + 2 is 5. We'll find out it's 4. And I'm like, maths is bullshit anyway. You can't do that. Just prove yourself wrong. You're the only one who doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, cool. Did you say...
I've only got one more, so I can
go. Right. No, I'll go and then you go. Yeah. Did you know, Joseph, only 12% of solar energy gets turned into electricity and the rest of it turns into heat, which contributes to global warming? Did you know
solar energy is supposed to be green. It's supposed to be like the greenest... solar panels on the roof, saving the planet.
Yeah. This is all bullshit, Because I didn't know that. People are making money off these solar panels, tricking people into thinking that they are some 100% eco-friendly thing. There are people looking down on other people who don't have solar panels on their house. Yeah. So that was another one that blew my mind, I mean, even this, but you know what the dumbest thing I've ever heard is this climate change rubbish. Oh, we need to go to electric. Do you know how electricity is generated?
Well, windmills
generate 5% of the electricity.
Yeah, so I don't...
Do you know... Alright, I'll tell you. I'll tell you guys. No, I'll tell you how. What they do is they burn wood pellets. So what they do, to generate the electricity that we have now, You know the big Arctics. You know the big lorry I drove in.
Yeah.
So I'm driving. Not that one. Double, triple the size.
Oh, okay.
Big lorries full of wood pellets. They cut down trees, and then basically machine them into small wooden pellets like this. One of those Arctics, they burn the whole of it full every 10 minutes.
Jesus.
Every 10 minutes. That's how they generate electricity. They put it into a big oven and they burn wood pellets. And for us to for us to be able to generate enough electricity, for us all to be using electricity, for cars, for everything, they would need to triple the amount that they do.
Jesus.
Now. So what we all do, we're giving up our electric cars or whatever, just so that somebody else can burn it, just so the government can burn more wood pellets. So we're going to electricity by burning wood pellets. Do you know what? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's probably worse, in fact.
Now we're cutting more trees. We've got to burn much more trees.
Exactly. But the craziest thing is because everything has an ulterior motive. It's because we don't control the oil. So they want to get people to move to electricity by convincing you it's a good thing for the planet. And I was like, how much safer are Teslas and things like that? Like, how much safer
one in the book, they did come up with a way to reverse the effects of the climate or whatever, by some inventions. They've basically found out that volcanic eruption, mitigates, it spits something, I don't know what it is, it's sulfur or whatever, that basically cools down the earth and whatnot. But it came up with its own problems, because who gets to decide what the temperature of the earth is? You might want it to be a bit colder so that people turn up their heating more. That's going to make you more money. You might want it to be a bit warmer so that people turn on the aircon. You know what I mean? So it just causes a whole heap of other
disputes.
Yeah, problems. But go on to yours.
The law of unintended consequence. Safeguards put in place to mitigate discrimination often induce discrimination, which I just thought was like a roundabout funny thing that happens. Like the law of unintended consequence. So you try to stop discrimination against a certain party, and it just makes more discrimination because you're highlighting them. They're in the spotlight now. Yeah. Like you're making it inconvenient for people to give them opportunities or anything like that. And it's just funny how all your efforts can be for naught. For example. Again, I saw a post on Reddit. A woman queried when period leave was going to become a thing for women in the workplace. And she was like, certain women have worse periods than others. And it's like, at times you can't do this.
If I was a boss, I know what I'd do.
I wouldn't hire none of them. I wouldn't hire any of them.
Oh, as little as possible.
And I literally said, their chances of being hired in the workplace, in the corporate workplace, I've already been damaged by maternity leave and things like that. Women could just leave to have a child. You got to pay for them to not be at work. You got to pay for them to not be at work. Now you want to pay you every other week to not be at work on top of that. So you can then leave. To do the same. It's ridiculous. No employer is going to think. It's like when people try and protect disabled workers' rights. Employers will just stop hiring disabled workers. There's no advantage to hiring them anyway.
I don't know why you're giving them rights in the first place.
It's just crazy. There's literally the workforce. I said this to somebody once. I said this years ago as well. I said, because I was even talking about the wage gap in the first chapters, but when I was talking about the prostitutes or whatever, I literally said, if companies could hire only women, pay less for the same job and get away with it, why does any man have a job? Exactly. The bottom line of every company is to make money. They don't actually give a shit what gender is working for them. Not really. Because the people who run the company aren't even there. They're on a beach somewhere drinking whatever. So if they could get away with that and literally save 50p on a pound or however much it is, they would absolutely do that because it's literally improving their bottom line. The only way it could be possible that women get paid less and men still have all the top jobs is if men work better in the workforce. The only reason it could possibly be.
Men are obviously more profitable.
Or more profitable. Apparently men take less sick time. Men work longer hours on average. Men ask for higher salaries as well. You go into interview, a man will be like, this is good, but can I have this? Most women will be like, thank you. Yeah. So there's loads of reasons that go
what do you call it? Agreeable.
Yeah, women are more agreeable. They're happy to be there, isn't it? They're happy to be there.
Out of the kitchen. My overall thoughts on this book is that I am underwhelmed. The ending with the climate change invention is really what saved this book. The last chapters were very informative. The layout was really all over the place. In the beginning of the book, they started talking about polio and hand washing in hospitals. And then to end the book, they started talking about hand washing in hospitals today. Why could that not be put together? It's baffling. But yeah, the book was worth reading. Sorry, was the book worth reading? Yes. Was it worth paying for? Not so much.
How much did you pay for it?
I didn't pay for it.
Oh, you didn't? You got credit?
I think I
credits?
used a credit on
Did you
all
use
of
your
them.
credit?
I mean, it's yeah.
Bro, my credit still ain't. I don't know why my credits ain't refreshed. Must be a different thing to your. I'm pretty sure it's been over a month. My credits haven't refreshed, but
it tells you when it refreshes. I'll show you.
Does
after.
it? Oh, okay.
But I went and just bought five credits the other day.
Fair enough. I was gonna do that as well. I was actually gonna do that
because two is just not
hanging over the button.
Just not enough. 2 is just not enough.
It's not enough. It's really not enough.
And not with the books that we're going to be doing now as well.
Yeah, ridiculous.
2 a week. Yeah, so.
Yes.
But yeah, we got to do a climate change one so you could see a real climate change book. But they did. They were talking about some new inventions that are coming out that could literally save the world. You know, they're talking about controlling tsunamis.
Yeah, come on.
And reversing the effects of climate change. Because if they can reverse the effects of climate change, all this, you know, bro, there's a lot going on, you know, in terms of this electric cars and this, that, and the other, and ethical and sustainable, and this, that. There's a lot going on that we're doing that we don't have to do anymore. And we could just
literally
do a U-turn on it.
And the future might finally look like it looked in the movies, didn't it? Like the 80s movies when they pictured like the 2000s. Picture this utopia of.
So yeah. You liked the book a lot.
I liked it. There was some interesting stuff in there. There was stuff in there that made me...
No,
where I decide whether a book's interesting is, do I want to read this more than I want to watch TV? That's how I judge it. If I want to read it more than watch TV, that's how I'm interested.
That's how you felt for this book?
Yeah, no, genuinely, because the TV was on, but I wasn't watching it. I was reading.
So there was some mind blowing things in there, but as I said, maybe I expected too much, but I wanted mind blowing nuggets.
To be fair, you're definitely right about. I wasn't even thinking about it at the time, but you're definitely right about the structure of the book. There really is.
100%.
I wasn't even thinking about.
No, but don't you think that they could have put? I mean,
they could have put the stuff together that made.
No, I was actually changing the subject. There could be much more useful and mind-blowing things, you know, because...
I suppose so. If
polio. Why are we just talking about polio?
I just found it interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But there's loads of interesting shit.
Okay, cool. But what I was thinking...
How did that make the cut?
When they was talking about things like this, it was almost like... It wasn't like a murder mystery, but it was almost like... They was like setting you up to like... do you know what I mean? Like they was trying to...
Yeah, no,
so how is this possible? Yada yada. They go to the studies. I didn't think it would be that.
I think they were trying to entertain...
Yeah, they're definitely trying to. You could tell by the language.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that. Give us the facts. Tell us this and that and whatever. You know, they could. Yeah,
honestly, when the authors find this channel, they're gonna be like, "When you write your effing, you can put whatever you effing want in there."
Yeah, well, you know. What was the prostitute thing about again? No. What was that about? Why were they telling us this?
They was just a whole.
They were telling us prostitutes make more than normal average. Well, they was bloody things. They better do, right?
They literally analysed how much they make with pimps versus without pimps, and I was like, how do they conduct this study? It's crazy.
I wonder if they sampled the goods.
They have to. One would assume you'd have to, innit? That's the only way you could really know. Get down to the nitty gritty. Is it
better than the wife? That's what you. Is it worth? But yeah,
I know what I'd be doing.
We are doing... I don't know what books we're doing next. We're definitely doing Inglorious Empire by Shashi Tharoor. It's what the British did to the Indians.
Oh, yeah.
And... Yeah, I don't know. There's a book, How to Argue with a Meat Eater. By a vegan man or something like that. You know, how to argue and win.
Do you think he would win against you? You wrote the book.
No,
you wrote the whole book.
He wouldn't win against me because I know that people who eat meat are stupid.
Wait, what?
No,
do you think it's going there?
No, it's true. It's true.
What do you mean?
People who eat meat are illogical and they're stupid, right? So,
people.
So you know, would you eat dog? No, but you'd eat steak.
The funny part is, would I eat dog?
All right. Come on, answer. Just hurry up. I've beaten you already.
I don't know.
Answer. I don't know. Go and say, I'm going to eat dog. Would you eat human?
Would I eat human? Well, here's the funniest thing. I think people will eat anything. It just comes down to what would you prefer to eat? What are your preferences?
No, I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
What would I prefer to eat?
You'd rather be like, no.
To me, social taboos.
To me, meat's meat. It's all protein. I eat it all. So you can't be
human.
All of it. Meat is protein.
Have you ever eaten human?
Not yet. But yeah, it's to me. Meat is meat. So you know and I know that's the angle he's gonna try and go down and say, oh well, what if you won't eat dog? Then why do you think eating sheep is okay? And
100%. To be fair,
that's the angle he's gonna go down.
Once he said that, he's boxed in, isn't it?
That's
you already know what you're gonna say. You already know what you're gonna say.
So I think we should read just to see if I'm right.
100%. He says how to win.
And that's how you
beat you.
But that's how you beat them. That's how you.
That
beat
is a
us.
very commonly used strategy, to be fair. I feel like, depending on who the other side is, I always know the most common strategy, the easiest way to beat them in an argument, to be fair, because I just know what people are
Because
going to
everyone's
say.
arguments are logical.
And there's nothing new under the sun. Everything someone can think of to say has been said 1,000 times. If you have the patience and
So
you're
people
willing to
can't
look
beat
for it.
me. They'd be like, oh, you wouldn't eat a dog. Yes, I would.
And I have. They're delicious.
But yeah, so we're gonna figure out what we're reading next week. But we're definitely doing the Indian one. So yeah.
Oh yeah, what the British did to India.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Listen, till next time, innit?
We're going to have an intro next time too. Should we have it out?